I just finished our 6-week squat specialization program. I started the program with 180 kilos and 6 weeks later I attempted weights that I hadn't touched in 10 years. In this video I'll show you my results from this training period, lay out the program for you and maybe give you some tips on squat training. Who knows? To give you some context for today's video, please bear with me as I explain some background. I've been into powerlifting since 2013, and all this time the squat has been the apple of my eye. That happens when starting strength is your introduction to barbell training, I think. In my first competition, 26 years old, I squatted 180 kilos. And then, just over a year later, I squatted 190 kilos. And then a month later, I had the most wonderful little daughter. Back to training with kettlebells at home while she slept. I also got my first office job and started sitting all day long, which my back didn't like one bit. 2 years later, I had a wonderful son, but still managed to get back into powerlifting. Deadlifts went fine, but I couldn't get my squat to click. To give you an example of how bad it was, at one competition after my son was born, I deadlifted 260 kilos and squatted 160, so 100 kilo difference. Deadlifts felt natural and strong, squats felt awkward and weak. Oh, and then we had a third wonderful kid. Fast forward to 2025, 10 years after my 190 kilo squat, and I still hadn't even touched that weight in squats again. And hey, I don't mean to make excuses. There are plenty of lifters who get kids, have busy works, and still manage to get stronger during that time period. I just mean to explain my journey, my priorities, and my decisions. So no judgment here. But I still love the squat and I don't feel finished with it yet. So for the last year, I've been focusing on powerlifting more and more again. I started training my squat quite a bit, freestyling it, until I realized that my training was a mess, my knees got more and more cranky, and I needed structure in my training. And hey, why not follow the squat program that I wrote many years ago that has gotten thousands of other squatters stronger? Enter Squat Samba. So Squat Samba is a squat specialization program in our app StrengthLog. It is 6 weeks long with 2 workouts per week, 1 heavy workout and 1 medium to light workout. The heavy workout typically has you doing 8 to 10 sets of 2 to 3 reps with 80 to 85% of your 1 rep max. The medium to light workout has you doing a similar amount of sets, but with 3 to 4 reps of around 70 to 75% of your 1 rep max. It is mainly geared towards strength in the squat, but you will build some muscle from it as well. So the outline is that your training weights increase all throughout the 6 weeks. But the training volume, measured in number of sets, increases and peaks around week 3 or 4, then it declines again into something of a taper before week 6, which is where you max out. So not only is the last week a taper, but it's also something of a deload in case you are planning to do repeated cycles of the program, which is the intention and which many people do. So the gist of the program is that you start in a somewhat comfortable place, then gradually increase the weight and the volume, trying to push your limits just enough so that you stimulate new gains, then ending with that deload and max attempt in the end of week 6. Okay, so going into Squat Samba, I had lifted 180 kilos a few months prior, and I felt that I was at a similar strength level still. I entered 180 kilos into the program, and then the program calculates my training weights for the next 6 weeks from that. Going into this, my knees were cranky as I mentioned, and I decided to do only squats for my lower body training. Normally the program calls for you doing good mornings on workout 1 and Bulgarian split squats or some other extra leg extension type movement in workout 2, but I omitted that and focused on the squatting. I also didn't do any deadlift training during these 6 weeks, once again because I didn't think that I would be able to handle it in the state they were currently in. So pure squat specialization. I also decided to intentionally overeat during the program to try and gain some weight and build some leg muscles. And I ended up going from 106 kilos at the beginning of the program to 108 kilos towards the end. So the first 2 weeks of the training programs, I gotta say, they felt pretty hard. I felt weak and my knees were achy, but I stuck with it. I alternated between the heavier workouts, often using 140 to 150 kilos, and the lighter workouts, often training with 120 to 130 kilos. Around week 3 of the program, my squat started to feel good, and my knees felt better and better. Then after the 2 heaviest weeks, week 4 and week 5, I noticed my performance started to decline and I lost some confidence again. And in hindsight, I should have expected that. It is precisely the plan to push you hard during those weeks, then reduce the volume in the taper to have you come out stronger and ready for your max attempt. but I had forgotten that. So the first workout of week 6 is a comfortable tapering workout with low volume. And then towards the end of week 6, it was time for the max attempt. Going into the max attempt session, I wasn't feeling very confident, but I was determined to get a result because I wanted to make this video, not in the least. So I started warming up, empty barbell, 60 kilos, 100 kilos. I got to 140 kilos, 3 plates, and it didn't feel very good. And I was not very confident at this point. Then I lifted 160 kilos, and that felt really good. Better than 140 did. So here I started getting confident again. So for my next attempt, I picked 175 kilos. That too felt really good. At this point, I was starting to get excited and confident, but it raised the question, what would be my next attempts? Should I take a swing at my big goal of 200 kilos but risk missing it? Or should I go for 190 kilos first, the heaviest weight I would have squatted in 10 years, and tie my old PR? And it would also be a 10 kilo increase on this program. I decided to go for 190 kilos first. Despite not having had this on my back for 10 years, I felt confident and not very nervous. And I got it. 37-year-old Daniel tying 27-year-old Daniel's squat. I am very happy with that. But I wasn't finished. Time to go for 200. Now I started to get nervous, but I was still very confident because 190 moved smooth. I knew I had a good shot at 200 kilos if I didn't mess it up, and in my mind, I already kind of had this weight. I could clearly see myself doing it. This weight is intimidating for me. It's a huge milestone, a big goal of mine. I had never had it on my back before, so I was nervous but confident. Here we go. Down and push, 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 push. No. That right there, my friends, is disbelief. As I said, in my mind, I had it, so I was surprised here. As an example of how surprised and confident I was, I actually removed all the weights, lifted the barbell back up, put on all the weights again, and did a second attempt. I knew that my chances were gonna be even smaller to get the lift this time, but I still figured that I had like a 10% chance at it, so I decided to go for it. And let's see. No, even further away this time. Okay, to summarize, I'm still really happy with the 10 kilo gain and being back to my old levels. I did that lift pretty early on in my powerlifting career, and I've always been a bit bummed out about that being the last of it. And I don't feel finished with the squat, so being back to that level feels really good. But as I said, I'm still not done, and I want 200 kilos or more. So I've started a new cycle of squat Samba, and yesterday I did the first workout. And my knees feel better now after these 6 weeks, so I'll try to introduce some light deadlifts again. Nothing too heavy, just one medium to light deadlift workout in between the 2 squat workouts every week. So yeah, there's that. Thanks for listening to my little backstory and my debrief on this training period. I guess if you want to see how the next cycle works out, hit subscribe and I will see you. Train hard, eat well, die anyway.